when you can inspire people to see your vision,
Right.
then that's when you really got something, and that's when you really get people to get behind you. Because it's like, people always want to build something and be like, well, ain't nobody jumping on my team. It's like, well, what are you giving them to follow?
That's on everything. That's on everything. If you want the latest news and the greatest views, tune into the Central Podcast, the one of my favorite crews, because they're entrepreneurs who grew up together. Now they created this show to make the community better. Speaking on being leaders, strong husbands and fathers, role models for our sons and our daughters, to business ownership. Like forget a building, you could own the strip. The squad holding it down as Jeen-Yuhs with C. Nick, T-Rel and B. Hicks. So what y'all wanna hear about? Like Hail Marys, they gonna air it out. So kick back and listen, they gonna set it, man. You're gonna be enlightened, and that's on everything. That's on everything. That's on everything. They are here to heal the people like Dr. Sebi, man. That's on everything. They celebrate success, so raise a toast with them and watch the confetti rain. That's on everything. 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 That's on everything.
Word up, this is C. Nick, joined by Jeen-Yuhs, T-Rel, B. Hicks in the building.
What's good?
Yes, sir. Here to give you everything that you need, none that you don't. And that's on everything.
That's on everything.
Everything you already know.
That's on everything. Hey, welcome to another episode of That's on Everything. Today we got a good topic for y'all.
Yo,
I hope everybody
am
is
I
an
wrong
easy fan.
for thinking this is my favorite show?
You're a little biased.
I love the show too.
I'll be riding around in
this-
the car listening to y'all like, man, this is dope.
This is why I thumbs it up right here. There it is. I just thumbs it up. I like it very much. Very much.
My bad.
No. I mean, you need to be following the show. YouTube, wherever you get your podcast from. I ain't gonna tell you where to go, but go get us, because that's
We are there.
No doubt.
But yeah, man, one of my favorite artists, I think all y'all like this artist as well, just dropped a beautiful documentary, very motivational, inspiring, sometimes chaotic. I'm gonna be fair. But it was nice to kind of like just see his story be unpacked, being one of the musical geniuses of our time. And of course, I'm talking about the one and the only. I think his name means the only one.
Correct.
Kanye West.
Yeah.
Did y'all watch the documentary? Genius.
I had to definitely had to get it. You know what I'm saying? Kanye was definitely one of my favorite rappers. Old Kanye.
He's still rapping, baby.
But his old Kanye is my favorite, and we'll get into that. But old Kanye is my favorite. New Kanye, cool, but
you know what I'm saying?
I
got my Kanye gear on. If y'all ain't know,
see,
it ain't a polo.
Even that is old Kanye. You know what I'm saying? That's 106 in Park.
Looking like a conscious rapper over there.
You know what I'm saying?
But I'm gonna have to go back to
you the
suck
gap like
mine in.
the Republican Old Navy. You know what I mean? No doubt.
Yeah, it was dope, man. 7, I think he said when they initially recorded, and they obviously edited some of it. But 7.5 hours of documentary. So his homie, I think his name was Cootie.
Yeah, Cootie.
Was an upcoming comic in Chicago. Bumped into Kanye like 98 at JD's party in Atlanta. And it was crazy. It was so crazy to see that footage because you had Mace, and Mace was that dude.
Murder Mace,
still popping at the time. And, then you have Kanye in the back, and they interviewed him. He had this public access show called Channel Zero. So he starts interviewing, and they build this relationship. And this dude Cootie, man, I gotta get some props to him first, because
absolutely
he was working on his craft. He was an upcoming comic, saw Kanye and felt the energy from this cat. It was like, that's gonna be a star. Matter of fact, I'm gonna quit my job. This dude quit his job to go follow Kanye and document him. Just seeing the potential in Kanye.
Correct.
And it's funny because when you watch the first episode, which is called Vision, you get to hear a lot about Kanye's concept, right? Of what he thought of himself and what he wanted to be. because at the time, 98, up in those upcoming years, everybody saw him as a producer, and that's it. Like,
That's it, yeah.
cheat beats, but my stuff is gonna be laced. Let me get my boy Kanye to do it, and we gonna kill the game. But he said he
was
only
killing the
made
game.
yes. I mean, he was producing for. I mean, he named a couple people like Eminem, Little Kim,
Jay-Z.
JD, Jay Z. Obviously, Jay Z has some classics to that boy.
Scarface.
Scarface,
I saw Nappy Roots he was doing some stuff with.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. All in the Chi-Town too, the Midwest. You know what I'm saying? Where at the time, I think it was a lot of East Coast, West Coast, and if you didn't get in with one of those groups or those camps, you kind of were forgot about, not taken seriously. But that first part, let's talk about the first part, the vision. Because to me, the theme, and I want to get everybody's take on this, what you thought about that first part of the documentary. And then we'll talk about the other two segments. But the first part called Vision, to me, it was really built on understand his confidence. Like, this has got to be one of the most confident individuals I've ever seen. To go from the lower Chicago side, your mom is sacrificing, buying you equipment, and then he starts scrapping, elbows with these producers, these guys that taught him how to make beats. Then he hones his craft, and he was like, you know what? I'm good at this. This is my internship. I'm gonna be the best rapper there ever was. And he saw all of it. Like he talks about becoming this great rapper, having great success, and winning a Grammy. And we're gonna see that play out. But for him to have that belief, and I think his mom was really, really key in that, obviously, because you see some footage with her and Kanye talking about, just music and where he wanted to go with his career. And he was like at her feet, learning, and she just pouring into this cat, like building him up. And I think that's so important as a parent. Like, that was so beautiful to see, somebody taking that interest with their child and just guiding them and just making sure they're, believing in themselves. Because I think everybody, can struggle with confidence, right? But to have your mom there to reassure you every time. And it was crazy because what I took away too from that first episode, there's a scene when they're talking, right, with his mom, and she understands. I think a lot of people will call Kanye arrogant. Oh, but she gave this great analogy about the giant.
She broke it down so smooth.
Hey, do you remember the quote?
Yeah, she was like, a giant looks in the mirror and sees nothing. And you can tell Kanye was a little perplexed about that. But she also went on to say, you can be on the ground and be in the air at the same time. Basically just kind of saying, like, stay humble, because the giant, everybody sees the giant, but you can't be the one like, hey, I'm the giant, look at me. They already see you. But, keeping that humility. And I think that's what she was, really trying to instill in him. But, and I didn't know if it was my turn yet, because I got a lot to say.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah,
you got the mic, baby.
So check it out. So man, I remember being in the Palisades at Jackson State when College Dropout came out, right? I was already a fan of Kanye, but when he dropped, just from the beats, the H to the Izzo, you know what I'm saying, just the whole soulful beat movement. But when I heard that album, and it's crazy because, like, when you buy we was buying the CD. So when you buy a CD, I like to clean up and listen to an album the first time, you know what I'm saying, so I can really feel it. Man, when he got to that last track, no, for real, when he got to the last track and he told the story and he was like, yo, you think you can still get that deal with Rockefeller? Bruh, I shed a tear because I felt it that deep, just like, bruh. So now to see the documentary, I was like, dude, I was almost in tears again on that first episode, because like I said, the level of confidence, bro, and for you to emit that type of energy, right, where you have my man Cootie quitting his job. I mean, that's like the essence of a leader. And I know T-Rail jump on that a little bit more, but when you can inspire people to see your vision,
Right.
then that's when you really got something, and that's when you really get people to get behind you. Because it's like, people always want to build something and be like, well, ain't nobody jumping on my team. It's like, well, what are you giving them to follow? You know what I'm saying? What is the vision that you're casting to give them to follow, to jump on board with? Because ain't nobody jumping on board with no trash. Like,
Right.
you got to be willing to follow this dream whether nobody's following you or not, and that's what Kanye saying he did. But also to comment on his mom, like Donda, like, to me, she was the star of the show. You know what I mean? Because, like you said, as a parent, and this was really kind of really made her stand out, because Donda was a college professor,
Yep.
and for her son to be a college dropout, name the album College Dropout, and be a rapper, like, you would think that she was a rapper in her past life, because she was 110% on,
On
like,
board.
at the shows. Like, Kanye, that was great. Like,
Knew the songs.
she was encouraging him like you would encourage a 5-year-old. Like, this is a grown man, and she was like giving him encouragement, like, you can do it, like, you're the best, Kanye. Like, I wanted more. You did so great at that show. Like, and it was almost childlike how she was just motivating my man. And it's just like you ain't there, because I think we get away from that. Like, when we
Right.
raising kids, like, of course,
Right.
when they're young, we feel like we need to pump as much encouragement into them. It's kind of like when a kid is learning to walk or ride a bike. Soon as they get down, we like, yo, get back up. You can do it. Or you fell off the bike. Let's go. Let's go again.
Oh, you did 2 steps that time. Okay,
You know what I'm
let's
saying?
get it.
But it's like, as we get older, it's almost like we step away from that, and we don't encourage as much, because we feel like, okay, they grown now. It's like, dude, you still need it, because just think about, like,
Probably needed more.
you need,
sure.
absolutely, you
And
need,
she allowed him to dream, you know what I'm saying? In a
Bruh.
comfort zone.
bruh, absolutely. She fostered that environment to make it okay. Like, dude, you can do anything that you want. So that was like the biggest takeaway for me on that episode, is, man, is just his vision, and him just not having the allowing himself to be pigeonholed as just a producer when he really wanted to rap. And
Word up.
and definitely the mom. So yeah, that's what I got.
For sure. I would say absolutely seeing the way Donda just affirmed him from the very beginning was the most powerful part for me. We can talk all day long about the power of affirmations, but when someone is behind you 1000% before you even believe in yourself, by the time he was able to carry himself, look at what it turned him into. You know what I mean? And that energy was just contagious. People wanted to drop what they were doing to be a part of his aura, because he was just straight exuding that confidence, that greatness, that belief, that vision in himself. That was huge. It was incredibly inspiring to watch that first episode, because we now can see what it turned into, and to understand that he started out with that very same mindset is a huge lesson for anybody trying to be great.
Word up. And like you said, to piggyback off that, Donda, I mean, the level of confidence that Ye had in himself was really all because of his mom. You know, she had, like you said,
She had the IV in him with it. Like,
she didn't allow any downtick in in the confidence. She was always lifting him up and reaffirming him. And then I think the other thing, real quick, before we go to Bruce, that I took away from it, you see a lot of the struggle that he went through. Like, he was already doing it. Like, he didn't wait to be a rapper. Like, he was like, I'm a rapper, I'm a storyteller, I got things to say. And he was doing it. And the beats was just a means to get him there. He had the vision. And even though he was getting all these no's and taking all these, negatives, like there's a scene when he goes to the Rockefeller office and he's literally playing the music forever. He playing Jesus Walks, like he playing the bangers.
And they're like having conversations.
On the phone.
They not taking this cat seriously, but he didn't miss any opportunity to let everybody know, hello, I'm a rapper. Like, it doesn't matter if you don't believe, because I believe. and it's gonna come out eventually. And I think him just having that positive attitude, obviously his mom building that confidence, his confidence was at an all-time high. And then, like you said, the energy that he was just pouring out. That's why Cody left. He was like, I heard H to the Izzo. He was like, that's the song dude played for me. Oh, I'm done. This dude's a genius. Like, to know that right away is crazy. Because like Jay said, you want to follow people like that. They inspire you.
Mhm.
That helped Cody understand his purpose. Like, he had been telling jokes in front of the camera, and then he started peeling back his own history. Like, man, I got a lot of history in my family. My mom, my pops, documenting and doing this. This is in my blood. It helped him realize his greatness.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I thought that was dope, man.
Yeah.
What's up, B?
Yeah, man. I agree, man, and kind of echo everything everyone said. What I like the most, man, and you took it right out of my mouth, CeeLo. You said it, is in life, right? As a man, when you feel disrespected, you vocalize it. You'll say like, "Hold, wait, hold, don't do that," right? My man was in the office. And like you said, he's playing the bangers. If we played them right now, everybody listening to the podcast will instantly start nodding their heads. And the girl is looking at him like he's begging to wash her windows on her car.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
thinking, like, how are you sitting there so cold? Even if you don't like the person, the music is there. That's him,
Correct.
And she's sitting there looking. And then he leaves. Mind you, he had the boo-boo face. I seen it. I've been that guy, right? We've all been that guy where you're like,
Mhm.
wow, he went to the next office, played another one. Then she gonna tell him, hey, turn off the camera and let me talk to you outside the office. And my man still came back. That is consistency, right? That is the definition of just
Tenacity.
like
Perseverance.
Determination,
Everything.
yeah.
intestinal fortitude to
There
say,
you go. There you go.
it's cool, not for you, but it's for everybody else.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I took away from it, man, is, everyone wants to look at Kanye like, and dude is crazy. Oh, he paid his dues. And you have people who work T-Rail and fast food. I don't like my drink. Oh, well, you don't be talking to me that way. Really? This is your job. He did the same thing, bro. He walked away, put his coat on, and walked out the building. Just to show the humbleness, right? Now, and everybody knows now where he is. When you literally, he who has the gold makes the rules. That's why he can act the way he acts right now.
But
Because
but
I've already paid my dues, my man.
he understood the adjustments that needed to be made to get him to his goal, right? And I teach people all the time, technical skills will get you in the door. His technical skill got him in the door, but soft skills take you to the next level. He learned how to build his confidence, continue to, emit that energy. He believed so much in his product that it finally broke through. It was, making beats. He could make beats forever, right?
Correct.
That got him in the room with the Jay-Z's, the Scarfaces, the Pharrells, and then you get to soak up the game and understand what they were really looking for and make those adjustments, man. It was beautiful to watch.
Man, and then also just to kind of to talk about the level of confidence, because like you said, no appointment said he was like, yo, we finna go up to
Got to see
Rockefeller.
Dave.
Oh, and I don't know if y'all
You know what I'm
saw.
saying?
You seen who the security guard was, right?
Who?
Michael J. White.
Oh,
The
really? I
dude-
didn't even notice
Yeah,
that.
that was him.
Oh,
So-
Michael J. Some Spawn?
I don't know him from anything else, bro. Just why I
But
get married.
tell
That's it.
from Why Did I Get Married?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
was
he
him.
played Spawn. Wow. I
Right?
didn't.
Wow.
Now I got to
So
back and look at it.
The confidence to look at him and be like,
This
We
dude
going
might
in
drop
for-
kick you.
Yeah, correct.
and he in the
But-
video like, that's Kanye. What? He's a fan.
Bruh.
Go back and watch it. He's like,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out.
I
No, but
didn't
I
even
was
notice
gonna
that.
say, so when he went into the so throughout this whole time, he going through the office, just playing his music, just kind of getting the screw face from everybody. He goes into a session with Jay-Z recording a song called The Bounce, and was like, and just starts spitting and gets on the track. Gets on the track. And Jay-Z said it in there. He was like, yo, if you wouldn't have said nothing, you wouldn't have been on that joint. Closed mouth don't get fed. Like, so just think about who all was in the camp at that time. You had
Benny
Freeway,
Siegel.
Beans, PD Crack, you know what I'm saying? Myth Bleak. Like, bruh. Like, and these are the guys that's getting catered to because
Cameron,
of the rappers. Cam, all of them.
They fit the image. Yeah.
There you go. And for Kanye to come in there, spit on a track with Hov, like how you got Hov in the next room. So it was almost like he said in the rhyme, if I can just get one beat on Hova, we can get up off this cheap ass sofa, right? so for him to recognize that, like, you don't understand, like, we in here with one of the greatest rappers alive. Like, you think I'm not finna go in here? I don't care if I'm trash.
Taking my shot.
I'm finna take my shot, son.
Take it with confidence, like,
bruh. And was in there spitting, and Hov coached him a little bit on it. And bruh, like, and that track is fire. I think it's produced by the Neptunes or something like that. But man, it was ridiculous.
Adaptable,
confident, like
hungry. He was a hustler too.
It's a formula.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about episode 2, because they kind of build off of each other. But in episode 2, we kind of see Kanye hustling to like really establish his voice at Rockefeller, because they signed him, but then they didn't take him seriously. Like Jay was saying, they was focused on PD Crack, and you saw shots with Benny Siegel and respect to Beans, but like the PD Crack guy,
the streets was hot at the time. It was all the street stuff.
Man, I didn't understand. I don't even remember that cat, but I do remember Memphis Bleak and Benny Siegel, and those guys were good MCs. But it's like this guy was making all the beats, and you wouldn't even give him a chance until like he impressed Jay-Z and all that good stuff, and he finally got that bounce joint. And I think he said he had another song on
the compilation album, that We're the Champions. He was on the verse.
It was a movie
the Dynasty?
The movie. No, it was the movie that Dane made.
Oh,
Paid in Full.
He
was on Paid in Full, which I didn't even know till I saw that. Actually, the bounce, I didn't even know that was Kanye. Like, I had no idea.
Yeah, I knew
when that song came out
because of what he spit.
Correct.
I didn't even know. Like, now listening to it now, I was like, oh, that is Kanye.
Do you got beef with Nas?
Man, that joint
was fire. Take over. Yeah, that joint.
It made me go back and listen to it. I was like, damn, that boy was nice. But what I liked about episode 2, obviously, he signed, he's with the label, he's still trying to make his bones. So 2 things. Really, you can see him, like I said, being a true hustler, because they didn't put no budget into this cat. So Kanye literally is self-promoting himself. Like, he's doing Def Poetry Jam.
I remember that too. That's what's so crazy.
Yeah,
which was
it's great.
Just a cold move on his part.
Move. You would never think someone of that, caliber, right? You would see at Def Poetry Jam. Like, you would never see Jay-Z do that at that time, right? It's like, for him to do that, for us it was dope to watch, but for him to do that, it was like, I'm willing to do anything to get my message out, to get this music out. So y'all don't even know how good it is. I'm trying to show you. If you would just listen. And then they made their own video through the wire, and it became a classic video. So it sets the stage for him. It gets the label's attention. So now they're like, oh, it's number 1. That's when videos was popping, right? TRL, BET, he all over the place. So now it's like, oh, let's get this guy some money. So it boosts his career, and even Cody, he started making, more videos and directing and stuff. So they both started to spark. But then you see, right, in episode 2, the ultimate crash. This guy gets in a wreck that could have really ruined his career. Like, messed up his jaw, had to go through the whole surgery. His timeline was played with, in terms of when what he couldn't do, can do with his jaw wired, when it was gonna come off, what was gonna impact record. He didn't care. He's out here shopping and stealing time in studios. Yo, this dude was a straight hustler. But what stuck with me from that episode, and then I'll pass it on to Jay, was we talk about storms in life. Like, you are never gonna be the same coming out of that storm. And for me, the car crash was the storm for him that transformed him. I think even made him a better artist because that he said it. That first album was like a rehabilitation. Like it was therapy. Like he was like, I'm literally I almost died doing this, and I'm about to put it all on wax. And what I loved about Kanye, I mean, that's to me, and we'll talk about it, it's my favorite album by Kanye, but it's like he wasn't trying to be gangster. He wasn't trying to be, to industry, whatever the industry was. He was straight real. And he said, he was like, when you hear my album, this is going to be the realest I ever wrote. Like, this is going to be the hardest stuff you ever heard because I'm taking what my mom poured into me, being an English teacher, the content, the lessons, the grammar. And then he talked about his dad being a marriage counselor, a Christian marriage counselor. So he was getting lessons about life and what's going on in the Black community. And all of that comes out. And and then he takes the old school beat, the technique that he learned from what were the guys that taught him? No ID and the man he started beefing with for a little bit.
I forget his name.
I forget his name too,
because
but
it's not Kanye. But go ahead.
Hey, he was so upset that Kanye didn't give him a love. But they basically taught him that sped up sample technique, and then Kanye comes in and masters it, and that's what I love him. And I know we talked about this. I used to love that technique so much. Like when he changed to 808, like kind of that singing, bruh, it took me like a month to get into that 808 because I was like, where's the sample? I need the sample.
Need it.
Because I called Jay. I was on the road listening to it. Like on the way back, I was like, yo, this is trash, bruh.
Yeah,
I know in the way. He was like, you listen to which one you listening to? I was like, I'm listening to the 808. What? I was like, man, I ain't heard one yet.
I was so hooked instantly.
But now it's one of my favorite albums. So I don't want to go too far on that. Let me stop there, episode 2, and we'll get Jay and we'll
check
go
it
a lot
out.
more.
Yeah, so on that episode 2, man, shout out to Cootie. Corey keep calling him Cody, but shout out to Cootie.
That's what they said, Cootie.
Yeah, but for like, cause you go from, it's almost like his craft evolved as well, and it's funny how like his dad used to have the camera, now Cootie got the camera, which was what they used to call his dad, and then he gets into documentary. They were using some of his footage for the MTV Boy. Then he gets into making videos. So the Wire video, because I remember seeing that video when it came out. I was like, man, that was a dope concept. So to kind of see behind the scenes how they made it and all the footage, like with D-Ray, without an arm I spit, without an arm I spit. Like, bruh.
That was cool.
So that was funny too.
when they put that all together, even they had the lady that was in the restaurant,
Oh yeah.
Like to see that was like a real moment because you think about like videos, it's like, yeah, we finna go find this stuff. No, this is stuff that actually was happening in Kanye's life that they just took and put it in the video. So even just the level of vulnerability, like when they went to the dentist and he was like, nah, keep it going, like filming the whole hookup, the whole getting the mouth numb with the needles, slobbing, getting all the stuff off. I mean, just keeping it a buck from the jump. And even the level of sacrifice to the point where he like, I got a show coming up. And the doctor was like, nah, you ain't finna make that show. So he decided to forego the surgery to fix his face and let it ride out so he could let this to release the album. So it was like, bruh, it's like that level of just like you said, just intestinal fortitude to just be like, bruh, okay, I'm a forego, looking symmetric, if you will, just so I can, because this album got to come out. And for him to, like you said, basically still in studio time, anybody that was there, because it seemed like even like when Ludacris got on the album and like a couple of his cats from Chicago was like, basically if somebody was in that town that was somebody, you was getting on the album. You know what I'm saying? And
he's at least gonna try to get you on it.
He was gonna try to get you on it. You know what I'm saying? Like with because Face was supposed to be on that through the what was that, Through the Wire or Family Business?
Family Business. Ooh, I would love to hear that too.
Man, that would have been dope. So, but yeah, man, I was just like, it just really helped. Just kind of made me relive just that whole college era with
Yeah.
that album and just making that whole hookup. And then even Pharrell's response, like to see these cats that he was in, like I ain't even know like Diddy was in the studio with him. You know what I'm
Yeah, I
saying?
didn't know where that came from. Because I
Yeah.
was questioning, now that you said it, I was questioning why, like, because they mentioned Rockefeller and Rockets, but I'm like, why he never tried to go the Diddy route? Like, he was in New York, Bad Boy was popping too, but for some
Absolutely.
whatever reason, he was drawn to those two labels. Those were the guys that were pursuing him. So
Correct. Nah, but yeah, that's all I had on that one. But yeah, it was epic, man.
No doubt. I would say really my main takeaway from the second episode was, just the power of people and making connections and building relationships. Even though he didn't have the budget, he didn't have the support from where he needed it from the company, he had enough wherewithal to go out and build and capitalize on the relationships he was forming out there. So being able to tour and work with Mos Def and Talib, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Seeing artists as he's still working and working on other folks' things, working on Jay-Z's album, making connections with the features, doing everything he could to just continue to push and promote his product. He was relentless. He was
Man.
relentless, and I loved it. It was, again, man, it was dope.
Yeah, because if it wasn't for those relationships, like you said, because you're going around making beats for the hottest artists out here. You know what I mean? And when you look at that Dropout album, like you had a lot of cats on there. Like you said, Talib, Mos Def, Common. You got Hove on the track. You got Ludacris. I mean, it was a lot of features, and even just the element. What I really love too is how he brought just that live choir feel. Like that scene right there, I was like,
Yeah, that was dope. I love
because you
that.
could have easily overlapped voices like they do today. He was like, no, I'm finna go to the church. We finna get the whole choir with the director. Like, yeah, get that in there. Get that harmonize on that
Felt
one.
like they was in the smallest room ever.
Man,
Like,
don't it?
good
It was in
lord.
like the closet.
Like, why are we doing it here? I love that choir feel, and I love the fact that he brought the poetry, into it, and one of my favorite poets from just back in the day, Jay Ivy, man, like that was just dope. That was
Yeah,
super dope too.
to see him spitting in there, I was like, yeah, that took me back because I didn't really know who Jay Ivy was. Um, and to just see him in the studio, it was just like seeing that all come together, man. It was just so organic, like it just fit like a glove, bro. Like every track, every beat, it was just so well thought out. It was just like, bro, come on, yeah. Bruce, what you got on it?
Did you
Yeah,
watch the
man.
second one?
Yeah, I watched the second one. And man, I just go back to um the whole concept of this is my vision and this is my goal. So, I mean, we didn't see as much getting pushed to the left that it was blatant. It was more subliminal this time, So you gave me the chain, and it's take it to corporate world, right? You get upset about your job, you go into a review, and they'll okay, well, we'll give you $1 raise. Okay, cool. That's what I needed. So that's kind of what I felt they did, right? We'll go ahead and give you the chain. You're on the team, but we
Yeah.
need this beat for this artist. And my man, I don't even know who the rapper was. He's not Kanye, right? Came up and was like, I need you to do me a beat. And
Oh
he looked
yeah,
at him and was like, okay, I got you. Yeah, yep, I got you. Meanwhile, I'm still trying to get behind the booth. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
So the humility, man, to say that once again, this is my goal and I'm a grind. A man is stealing. I mean, he's getting played even at the what do you call that? At the recording studio. He's talking to the little kid. He's like, "Hey, I'm Kanye West. I did this beat. I did this beat." Nothing. You know what I mean? And the little kid, and I saw it in Kanye's mind because I've been there. This little kid doesn't even know the advantage he has. Right? He's riding up and down the hallway. I'm trying to just be in the building. He's playing here. This is a playground for him. This is life for me. I've been there. So I'm sitting back thinking in my head, like, absolutely, bro. Stick to it. And once
hmm
again, the humility was there. because he remembered his vision and his goals. So it was cold. It was absolutely cold.
Word up. One thing I forgot to mention too that I thought was pretty dope, and I think this came from the first episode, because we talk a lot about all the time iron sharpens iron. And they had a scene in there when he goes to Rockefeller offices, and you see Just Blaze, who was a big producer at that time, and I think Ye said that's like his best friend slash nemesis or arch nemesis, right? But he was like, yeah, this dude, is making 5 beats a day. Like I gotta keep making beats, and I can't wait. I gotta, get better every day. So just being in the presence with a guy like Just Blaze, who I think did the other half of Blueprint, which is a classic album,
Yeah,
right?
it was really them two tag teaming it. Besides a couple Dre beats and Pharrell beats on there.
Yep. So Kanye, Just Blaze, put together a classic, and then probably being kind of connected. But I think just having that level of competition or anybody that's pushing you is key in whatever you're doing. And that's why I think, for us, for our, for the Glide sessions, this podcast, us being able to connect and kick ideas and, making sure we holding each other accountable. That's very important in life and its success. And Kanye's predicament, it meant life or death. Like, he could have been Just Blaze. And I thought it was funny because Just Blaze even looked salty at that time.
Low key.
Even though that he was the guy, I think he knew that
not for long.
Like the guy.
Yeah. Like here come the real dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and no disrespect, like I love Kobe. Like he might have been the Kobe, and then LeBron came in, and then not even talking about you no more. It's like he just jumped over him. It was crazy. But iron sharpens iron, man. It just pushed him to be better and making beautiful music.
I saw that. Shout out to 2-4.
Shout out to the GOAT. Hey, 2-4. Don't never get it twisted. It's just an analogy for the listeners.
Man got offended. You talking about the Mamba?
Right. No disrespect, no disinfect. Let's talk about that part 3, which I know is Jay's favorite part. You know what I'm saying? Because that boy love him some new Kanye. Give me the old Kanye. What the hell, Kanye? The Awakening. I'm gonna let you kick it off. You know,
all right, So the Awakening was basically, and then you saw the precursor at the end. They could have stopped it at this. I understand, and shout out to Cootie and Chike for getting 30 mil for this footage. And you had to see it just in case you didn't.
I told you who I thought I was.
Yeah.
I'm a god.
You ain't got the answers, Sway. You ain't got the answers. So this was like the evolution. Like Kanye becomes the icon. So you have these Kanye moments. The George Bush doesn't like black people. You know what I'm saying? Don't care about black people. You had the Taylor Swift. You know what I'm saying? Beyonce had one of the greatest, you know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna let you finish.
But you know what I'm saying? The whole interview with Sway. So it's like almost Kanye becomes out of control in a sense, becomes almost larger than life. Kind of like Corey was saying before. Money doesn't change you; it just amplifies who you already are. Kanye was already a very confident person, but then at the same time, because he didn't have his mom, because she had passed, he didn't really have that compass to kind of keep him.
That was the catalyst.
Didn't have that compass to really keep him mentally in check. So it was like a pit bull off a leash. It's like, you didn't give him the Grammys, you didn't give him the money, he done lost his mom, his moral compass. So it's like, you can't tell me nothing.
He said it too.
Wait till I get my money, right?
Like for real though.
Yeah. So now he's not really concerned about not necessarily the music as much as he is projecting his voice and his opinion and being able to do what he wants to do. So now you have, like, you ran for president. He trying to get into the clothing business. He's getting blocks there. So it's almost like he went through all these tribulations to become a rapper and not just a beat maker. Now it's a whole new, a whole new challenge because now I'm trying to become Ye, the public persona, the fashion guru, you know what I'm saying, the billionaire, the icon, and he's getting pushed back because now it's like, okay, you the greatest rapper, we gave, you there now. What more do you want? But he want it all. You know what I'm saying? Kanye wants
What
it.
else is there?
Yeah.
Like,
What else? If there's
what else
something
is
else
there
to
for me
get,
to get?
Like
Kanye
Kobe
is gonna
said,
get it.
more. I want
Yeah.
more.
There you go. So and he did that, and seeing it was kind of, it really explained a lot of things to me because I was just strictly on the music. And of course, after 808s and Heartbreak, of course, that was the album that, he dropped, shortly after his mom passed. And then you got The Life of Pablo that I got on late. But after that, I was like, I don't want to hear none of it. I'm gonna be 100. Like, I'm gonna go on record right now. Donda didn't like it. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Let's
just
do
going.
that.
We ain't there yet. So I'm gonna save my rant for that. I'm gonna save my rant for
You
that.
said all these beautiful things about Miss Donda, and now you don't like the album.
I'm
Ain't got nothing to do with Miss Donda.
You know what I'm saying?
She was all over that boy.
I'm gonna leave my comments to myself on that
All right,
because I love Dr. West.
Well, I'll say this about 3. I mean, it brings you up to speed to kind of, like you said, these Kanye moments, the trials and tribulations, but it was all the, result of his mother passing. And in the documentary show, like, even when he made it, got rich and famous, got the Grammys, the second album, then he loses his mom. But in that time, as he's starting to catapult into, fame and fortune, he's actually clinging to her more. Like, she becomes, like a best friend, a counselor, advisor. No more parenting. It was just like, let me run this past you. What do you think? And she was just brutally honest. Like, even when she told him he was arrogant, but like didn't make it a bad thing. But she gave him the whole giant analogy. Like, she had a way with words to keep his confidence high, but to also, I think she said, for him to keep his feet on the ground but heads in the clouds. That was the whole breakdown of the analogy.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of sat with it and unpacked it a little bit, and it made sense. He was like, I am kind of arrogant, but I feel what you're saying. You got to touch you got to have that common touch.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the key. When Donda passed, he basically felt like he didn't have anything. He said it like at one of those concerts, he had an outburst, and they was like, they telling me to stop touring, go home and grieve, da da da. He was like, go home to what?
Correct.
He was like, I don't even have a purpose no more. Like, I did what I came to do. I wanted to make my mama proud. I did that. I became the best rapper in my mind, and that's how I feel about it. Whether you like it or not, because I'm gonna attack every beat, every album like that. And now that my mom's gone, he was just like, yo, what's the purpose? So I think when he lost that purpose and he was going through that pain, you start to see the spin out, and you get hospitalized, bipolar. You have all these outbursts, and he's just like no filter, which I can respect. But it's like I think what he struggled with is like, even though what you're saying might have some truth in it, it doesn't make it necessarily 100% true. And that's where, the controversy comes in with Kanye. Because I think everybody loved when he said, Bush don't care about black people. Because I think that's how people was feeling at the time.
Correct,
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Even though you weren't supposed to say that on TV about a president ever, but people was like, yup, I'm rocking with him. But then, you fast forward, he making, comments about slavery and how it was a choice. And it was like, whoa. You got the red hat on too? Like,
oh man.
Yeah. But he was just he was more caught on the idea, think of an outsider and the underdog. So that's what I think he was attracted to and what he was clinging to, not necessarily the politics. Because then you see in the documentary, he runs for president, as we all know. And he was offended. Like, people wasn't like, his homies weren't even voting for him. Like, what? It's me, bro. I'm a genius.
Yeah.
Like,
correct.
but yeah, I don't know if ready for the album. I mean, ready for The Office. But the music, I think he reached that pinnacle. He won the Grammys. He's making dope beats. He became a great rapper. In his mind, the greatest of all time. And then he has this huge traumatic loss. And I think even to this day, you saw it when he was talking to his pops. Like he was still searching for that
Mhm.
parental family connection because like there was not a didn't appear to be a big relationship between him and his
Correct.
dad. But
Correct.
even when they was having that FaceTime, he was hushing people and like, trying to
Yeah.
say, no, this my dad. Like it was like kind of childish, if you will, a little bit. Felt a
Yeah.
little, like
Yeah.
naive.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
that's your pops, and I understand you're trying to rebuild, but like this cat ain't been there for you. Your mom was there for you. But he's trying to make that into a powerful relationship to fill that void. But I say all that to say, in terms of, you see Kanye West in the beginning, he had this vision and he spoke into existence because he talked about even his name. He was like, yo, he was tripping about the promoter back in Chi
Yeah.
Town
Messing up
cutting
his
his name
name.
short. They
Yeah.
calling me Kanye, Kanye. He was like, it's gonna get to a point where they just gonna call me Ye. Today he is officially known as Ye. He went from Kanye West to Kanye to Yeezy to Ye. And it's
Yep.
like,
Yeah.
man, this dude was constantly thinking about the next thing. So that's what I love
Mhm.
about Kanye. And he's not afraid to tell you how he feel, good or bad. You can unpack it and take it with
Yeah.
you, whatever you want. But he went from that hip hop just being like a rapper to an artist. And then he was like, I want to be the best dressed rapper.
Hmm.
Hence, you got the Yeezy brand. He owns the Yeezy brand. He changed fashion. As they say, he jumped over the jump man. It's like this dude ain't never shot a basketball. But the Yeezys is $1 billion, made him a billionaire.
Absolutely.
Then you get into the choir and gospel and just directing music. Fast forward to Donda, he got Donda 2 out now, but Donda, when it dropped, long album, a lot of collaboration, but man, it's so soulful. It's got R&B, it's got hip hop, it's got, gospel, and he's pouring his soul. It's like Jay was saying, he had the tear about the Rockefeller moment. Man, he got a song on there called "Come to Life" that'll make, if you have felt any joy, pain, success, loved anyone, or lost anyone that you love, you gonna come away from that track shivering. Like you gonna have the sloppy face. It's gonna be nasty.
Mhm.
Because he gonna make you feel something, and it's a human emotion that I think he poured into it. And then lastly, and I'll pass over to T, but Don the Two dropping again, him bucking against the system and the industry, knowing that they getting pretty much robbed. As an artist, they put all the work in, make the music, and they get pennies. So he's like, you know what? I'm not gonna stream it, because when he dropped Donda, even the gospel album, Jesus is King, I think
Mhm.
was the first one. That was like Spotify. The numbers were through the roof. It was just like he broke records when Donda dropped too. So now he's like, you know what? I'm gonna bet on myself. Created a device that you can only get the music exclusively. So from a business standpoint, it's like this man just don't stop thinking about how can I now. I think what I left with that last episode, he was basically like, how can I be an agent for change? I'm trying to change the world. I'm trying to improve the world for my children, for your children. And that was kind of one of the lasting impressions I had from the last episode. What say you, T?
Man, the last one was a hard one for me to get into from the energy that I was getting from the first two, right? So like from going from being incredibly inspired to really trying to figure out the pain that this person is going through and watching
Mhm.
that happen. It was different. But what I took away from it was what I watched and what I witnessed was an influencer outgrowing his need for self-regulation, for self-assessment, and losing his, like you said, losing his compass with his mom, and probably on the only peer that he could, truly get that, iron. We talk iron sharpens iron. Who he was his That was his closest person. That was his support system, his network. His confidence probably didn't allow him to even take those checks from people around him, right?
Mhm.
He ain't trying to he long since grew past caring what anybody else thought. So, so then it became to the point where he didn't have anybody to, like you say, keep his feet on the ground. He didn't have any reason to even think of himself in that way anymore. So we watched that happen, and yeah, there's some greatness and some genius moments that came out of that, and then there's some some really dark times. And I think that's the lesson, is that even though we create these visions, and even though we want these great things, the universe doesn't just give it to you. There's going to be some challenges. There's going to be some oppression. There's going to be some pushback to that, and how you handle it and how you respond is really going to shape the way that you end up. So
up.
it was deep, but it was educational. It was enlightening. It just, man, it was just a change of energy from that second episode.
I feel what you said. Like, I felt there was moments where you felt really like, you could feel the pain, and like you watching somebody so great that you admired, and they're going through this, this pain. Like, you just couldn't let it go, and just lashing out at everybody, and then just like rambling on, kind of like these, whatever came to his brain. It was just like, yeah, but what does that have to do with the price of tea in China?
Yeah. Well, I wish he would have let. I think the only other person beside his mom that could really, relate to him was Cootie. Like, he was there through the whole thing, but he kind of
soon as he won that first Grammy,
changed.
It changed everything. You could see, like, he was called him Cody, like Corey is.
Dude, when he told Cootie to turn the camera off, I was like, that was like significant for me, because it's like, yo, this is your man. Like the whole time they were filming, it's my man Cootie. You doing a documentary on me? We're gonna do a documentary one day. It was like, it's my man. Like, turn the camera on you. Let's and then all of a sudden it's like, yo, turn the camera off. Like, wouldn't even recognizing my man. So I was glad to see that when they went to China, that he asked Cootie to go with him, and I thought that they were going to have a little bit more time to connect and reflect, because I thought that was really his only saving grace was Cootie, just because he been there through it all. So if anybody understand, like, he was there with Mama West, coming over to the crib, eating and kicking it, you know what I'm saying? So he understands all that, but he just never really let Cootie into that, like that, you know what I mean? So
word up. Bruce, any thoughts on the last episode? I don't know if you got that far.
No, I didn't watch the last episode, but I mean, I now know why I don't listen to Kanye. Like, I think 808 was no, I didn't like 808. So I think, I don't know whether it was late registration or dropout, whatever those two were. And I think that was the last album, because he just started going left for me, man, and I couldn't follow it. But y'all know I'm not rap anyway, and so that changeover, that's where he lost me anyway. I mean, he could have, I don't know, had to fire his album, but it wasn't the same. I mean, my favorite song is Late, because that bass is just a smooth groove. I'm a groover, so yeah, man. I don't think he could do anything right at this point for me. You know what I'm saying? But once again, man, I just have to give it up to the cat. I mean, we as African American men, sometimes, well, you already know, it's just hard. You come from different backgrounds. Some of us have fathers in our lives, some of us didn't. You're always self-doubting, and your mother's doing the best she can to raise a man, but a woman can't. It can happen, right? A woman can do anything, but a man needs to be there. So,
correct.
For my man to just have that giant in him, right? It's insane, and that's probably why, a lot of people in Central have cultivated that giant. Look at the Muhammads, or the Royals, or Michael or Amon, or even Haji. I mean, they're out there taking their own pace. I wish he was here. I want to ask Haji, has he ever had a W-2? I don't think he has. I'm dead serious, man. I've never known Haji. Think about it. We all worked somewhere in middle school. Excuse me.
Did he work at Steak and Shake? Or no?
I remember him taking some
he did.
He did work at Steak and Shake.
Yeah, that's what I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I don't even remember that. I remember him
been the last one.
Sugar package. That's it. So, okay, maybe one.
This guy's he was always a hustler and entrepreneur. So
But even for God rest her soul and his soul, you know what I mean, Queen Amir and King Cliff, you know what I mean, to put that in him,
Word.
what?
Yeah.
Mad
It's insane.
confidence.
Donda was doing the same thing, man. So, to build him up, and Jay, you said it, man, and you hit it on the head. After your kids are potty trained, you don't say good job for going potty anymore. It's just what you do. After you start walking, you don't say good job for walking or riding a bike. That's just what you do. So for her to still be there, man, and him to be humble enough. And it reminds me a lot of my mother and I. I mean, a lot of people think I'm arrogant. I don't know where y'all getting these facts from, right? I would say I'm arrogant. A lot of people will say I'm, stubborn. But even my wife will say, I'll call your mom. You get this all figured out real quick. And I look like, oh, she caught her. I ain't gonna take that right now. Let that marry, because
Yeah.
your mother has just a different, voice to calm the giant, because we all have giants in it. So, man, I wasn't gonna watch the episode, and that was gonna be the subject. So I appreciate y'all for once again broadening my horizons, because I'm looking
Hey,
at
you don't
that
have to
Cat
watch the
TV.
episode. Just go listen to Donda, the album, son. And you good.
Or I can stop that later.
The documentary is like
Amazing.
6 hours shorter than the album. No, just watch it. It's like 75 songs on that. Don't do it.
Well,
You don't even know what track it was. What track was that?
Let's
So
talk
no,
about the
man.
albums. Let's talk about the music. You know what I'm saying? Y'all want to do top 3, top 5? How y'all want to do this?
Oh, yeah, we can do top 3.
Is
Top
3 enough?
Yes.
Three's
Yeah, three's plenty.
Three's plenty.
All
And I'm
right.
gonna tell you
Well,
why I don't like the ones that's not in my top 3.
all right. Well, go ahead, Jay, because I know you got a lot to get off your chest, son.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I feel like Snoop, you know what I'm saying? The East Coast ain't got love for Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. You know where we at? Nah, so man, like I said, my favorite rap album, period, is College Dropout. All right, period.
Facts.
So, and then it just goes in chronological order. So, College Dropout, Late Registration, and then I'm actually gonna say and I love Graduation. I'm gonna skip Graduation and go to 808s. So, College Dropout, Late Registration, and 808. And 808 was different, and I hated 808 at first because, like I said, ain't got no soulful samples. You singing, I'm like, bro, what is you doing? Like, this ain't Kanye. But then I couldn't stop playing it. It was just like it was in heavy rotation, heavy rotation. But then after, and I didn't even listen to Life of Pablo till like recently, and I was like, yeah, that it has some
Fire.
yeah, it is. That's a fire album as well. But it's like the content, because I'm more of a lyricist person, and I really appreciate it because I'm not really a gangster rap person as well. So I appreciated that middle point,
That perfect mesh.
that perfect mesh that he
Yup.
provided, because I ain't selling no drugs. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I
He was-
ain't
Yeah,
out
they
here
said he
doing
was
that.
street
what I'm
enough to
saying?
get the hardcore brothers, and
I knew where to get the
gangsta
weed
enough to
at,
get
but
the
I
hip-hop
wouldn't go and buying it. I can tell you, go over there on KZoo, you know what I'm saying? You can go make some stuff happen. But that just wasn't
It was good for rap though. That was a good era.
So, but after that, it became more about the money, and he got what he got on Hove level, and it just the content of the lyrics just kind of pretty much diminished. The beats were still fire, but then
You don't like the content.
but Donda was the last straw for me.
Wow. What is Donda 2? You haven't even heard Donda 2.
No, I haven't, and I'm gonna give it a chance. If I'm not finna pay, I ain't finna pay the $5 for the device. You know what I'm saying?
See, you gotta. That's gonna be a part of history.
And I dig it, and maybe I will, but I probably won't. But
Maybe I will.
Yeah, I just can't.
If I do, I'll put the cheats on you.
And I don't want to, and that's just my opinion because I'm entitled to it. I know a lot of people obviously bought the Donda and it got some great content, because even you hit me to because I guess I was just so one sided with the Kanye, because even when he came out with the gospel album, I was just like,
Fire.
But then you hit me with that track.
That Jesus is born.
Father stretch
No,
my
the
hand.
Father Stretch.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh. But
Can't run from
production wise, I can't take nothing ever away from Kanye. But like I said, from a content, I just the Donda threw me off. I couldn't do it.
Word up. T-Rail, what it do?
Man, top 3 Ye albums. I would say my favorite Ye album is definitely that 808s and Heartbreak. I love all the classic Ye, and you know, my next two got to come from that era. But that 808s was just something different. It was you know, the way he was hitting with those drums, he changed his sound. It was, you know, playing with the auto tune. He brought some of my favorite like trap rappers in with Jeezy, Wayne on there. It was just dope. And then like the storytelling of it, it was like a real picture into where he was at right then. And I like that album a lot. Second is probably College Dropout, the first one, just because it was classic. And then third is the Twisted Dark Fantasy, because he had a lot of hits on that one. It just I don't think it gets the credit that it deserves.
It's been called the best rap album of all time.
I mean, laced with hits, top to bottom. I mean, the features is all on point, top tier. The production.
That's the one with Monster on it, right? With Nicki.
Monster, So Paul,
Runaway,
Flashing Lights, Runaway.
I'm gonna have to go back.
Devil in a Blue Dress, like so many.
No, he got some bangers. Lost in the World, yeah.
It's
all
late,
the lights.
Those are my top 3.
All right, where's
Bruce
Mr.
been
Hicks?
left.
He don't want any parts of this conversation.
He going to Google Kanye West albums.
He got one song, Slow Jams.
He's like, I'm gonna tell
whatever Slow Jams is on. That's
my top 3 Kanye singles.
What was that boy name? Oh, and that was dope too to see that even Jamie Foxx, man, we brought him out in the One Gotta Go a couple weeks ago. But even for Jamie to like show him love, and he was telling Kanye like, I need to be on this. This is Jamie Foxx now. Like he's doing well. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's like, I need to be on this. What do you need me to do? You're like, sing. Yeah. Got it. What let me to sing? Whatever. Got it. So no, man, I would go with Late Registration. All the stuff that had to do with college. I don't know. It was like registration, college dropout.
Yeah. It was college dropout, the graduation, and late registration.
First 3. The old Kanye. That's the old Kanye. Yeah.
Yes. That's bro. I mean, I can put those on.
Yeah.
Just let them rock.
It's a banger.
All 3 of y'all.
Well, let me just say, I guess I must be the biggest Kanye fan at this point, because I love
you dress like
I love every Kanye album. But yes, I'll have to rank them. Let me just speak on what you said real quick with Jamie Foxx. I thought that was dope too, a dope moment to see 2 underdogs in the game at that time, because Jamie was singing forever and knew he could sing, but would never, given an opportunity. And I think that song literally changed his recording career, because then from there you started to see him, he got another album, another record deal, made some classics. So for them to link up at that time, that moment in history, and make a classic, then they do Twister on that boy. Bruh, you can't run from that. So it was like just that energy, like for them to both be underdogs, multifaceted, multi-talented individuals, and come together and create an explosion that everybody can't ignore. You just can't run from that. So
it was nothing ever created like that. That was a rap song called Slow Jam. Like that's an oxymoron in itself.
Yeah, but crazy dope.
You see what I'm saying? That is the energy on that was fine.
The Mark McGuire's and the Sammy Sosas, you know what I mean? In each industry at that time, like put them on there.
Tyler in the video,
bruh. And then he's paying homage
to the old school,
all the old school, Freddie Jackson, Smokey Robinson, Luther Vandross. Wow, bruh. I mean, you can't
run from it. So that being said, obviously my favorite is the College Dropout. I mean, the artwork, the whole motif of the album. I mean, like Jay said, it was just, there was nothing like that in hip hop before Not even after, I would say. I mean,
correct.
it's a moment. It's an album. Like I had the CD in the car, stayed on. It was no skippables. You listen to every inch of the album. Couldn't stop playing it, bro.
Interludes, the whole fraternity interlude, boy.
The skits were funny. Like, yeah, it's just
All of
classic album. It's so many. That's what I'm saying. Dang, it's really hard for me because I love Late Registration. I would probably have to. I want to say Graduation. But I feel like those first three can all be, just for argument's sake, the first three can kind of be wrapped up in what I call the old Kanye. So I'm gonna say, College Dropout from that
the
round,
trilogy.
and then
the old Kanye trilogy.
There you go.
That's one.
then the 808s, because even though, like I said, when I first heard it, I hated it. But then you listen to it, and it really grows on you. And that sound, he changed rap again. Like everybody was auto-tuning and trying to sound like the beats, the 808s. Like everybody was trying to sound like Kanye from that point again. So I feel like that album was a shift where you had to get on board with the music and where it was going.
Or get left behind. So that's probably what happened.
Or get left behind. And he has some albums along the way. I mean, Pablo was dope. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Nightmare. Yeezus don't get a lot of credit, but it was a banger. But Donda came out. Let me tell you something. Hey, this boy Donda, bruh. I think I listened to it on a Sunday, and it was kind of one of those lazy Sundays, putting in my FanDuel, just letting it ride.
That somebody to clean this up.
Man, that come to life. I had to, I texted to Ruby, I texted to my aunt, my mom. Like I called my aunt that probably ain't like the biggest hip hop fan, but she loves music. So I was like, let me explain something to you first. Let me set the stage. I was like, I just need you to listen to this song and then call me back. She called me back. She was like almost in tears. Like, bruh, the song is powerful. The music is powerful. And I think he drew a lot on that growth that he had with his mom passing. And then, he goes and builds this monument of the house. And he got the Yeezy brand. So he's back. I felt like he was back on his feet. You know what I'm saying? From an artist standpoint, where he was back to creating. And he just poured so much into the album, man. Hip hop, R&B, gospel, you name it. The features is there. The production is crazy. I mean, the whole album is ridiculous. And it's long because you have an original cut, and then he did you a favor. He gave you the remix for free on the same album. So he doubled up on some of those songs, and that's why it's so long. You look at it like, man, again? And it's like, oh, he threw he has a song with Jay-Z, and then he throws The Baby on one. So it's like a different interpretation. And that's Jay, man. He did that with Pablo, I think it was. So through streaming, he was changing it, like at moments in time, he was like changing the version of the songs and re-releasing it through the streaming companies. And then now you fast forward to the last one, Donda 2, which I would love to hear, but I got to make an investment now because this boy Ye he done drew a line in the sand. You got to go buy the stem device. Correct. Which is revolutionary. You can remix the song and you can hear it the way you want to, but he giving you 3 albums on that boy. So I'm just waiting for one of y'all to leak it so I can tell you what it's like.
That stem player is dope though. The way that it manipulates the music is pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's genius, man. So that is it, man. That's Ye in the books. Great discussion, fellas. Can't wait to the next one. Make sure y'all tune in. But this has been another episode of That's on Everything, where we give you everything that you need and nothing that you don't.
Say it again. That's on everything.
That's on everything. That's on everything.